timid. Look, wait. I got people trying to wish and pray that I'ma fall about it. All about it till we spoke in person. Don't wanna talk about it now, huh? Oh, you sound tough. Toying with them, don't get wound up. How you wound up? Another number in the round up. Put the town up. I built this thing up from the ground up. And if I bounce up, I get my crown stuck. Green light go, got the east side flow. I'm a giant in the space like FIFA4. All the kids sing along like EIO. Every time when they see my show, thinking that it happened overnight. Yeah, didn't. In it for the long haul flight. Committed.
Hello, hi, welcome back to Beyond My Story. This is my podcast channel. If I'm meeting you for the very first time, my name is Godwin Omondi Kidondo, and welcome. Thank you for your valuable time to hear my story and to also, comment on the chat box. Please share your view. Please share some comments about what you get to hear from me as I share or take you through my story. So before we proceed, let me take a few seconds to ask for you to subscribe, so whenever we upload my stories, you're updated and you're keeping up with our pace. This is our 10th episode, which is moving on swiftly. So please find time to listen to the stories that we've spoke about in the other episodes. And on today's podcasts, let me start by putting a disclaimer out there that I'm not an expert in what I'll be sharing. But again, I'm just sharing my view of the story, my experience, and welcoming as well your comments and your experiences and what we'll be talking entirely about. So on today's podcasts, we're talking about relocation. In this case, we're talking about relocation, basically relocating here in where I'm based, here in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Basically, this is my second home away from home, and I think I felt the need to talk about the whole thing about relocating here because, again, I do spend a lot of months in the year here working, obviously, and that's exactly what keeps me here, right? The work. And besides that, raising as well a beautiful family here. So that's why I've actually called this as my second home, far from home. And there's a lot to talk about in the relocation here. So I've settled here for nearly now 17 years counting, nearly 18 years actually. And this journey began quite well, and it's by God's grace that has taken me through this. So I have to really be grateful and be thankful that God has been very gracious, and through the 18 years, nearly 18 years, it has been piles of blessings, it's been blessings over blessings over blessings and overflowing blessings. And I think these blessings are overflowing in the sense that you get the surplus to your family, to friends, in very many aspects, financially, socially, career wise. I hold so much gratitude on so much that has happened and transformed in my life, from relocating here myself to meeting a second family here, which are my friends, that translated to being basically family, and actually settling down to have my own family and my kids here and raising them in this beautiful country which I call home. So basically my experience relocating in UAE were with so many mixed emotions. I recall that actually because the expectations that I had before relocating here were over the moon, if I could put it that way. I felt that this was a land of, as they say, milk and honey, green pastures. It's a desert world, yes, I admit that, but again, it's much greener than you would anticipate. And obviously, in the same perception was the same thought process that I had in my mind, deciding to relocate here because I was just fresh from college and trying to get an opportunity here. People have different stories on how they decided to relocate and settle here in UAE, in specific for myself here in Dubai, where I've actually been for this length of time. This is the Emirates that I've been settled in since I relocated here, but obviously I've traveled across the other Emirates. but I am more conversant with Dubai in itself. But we do have different stories, we do have different motives, we do have different views of why we took that decision to relocate here. But in my case, my decision to relocate here was obviously there were better opportunities here in hospitality, the field that I was in at the time, which I'm still in. Because I moved here with desire or with the dream of actually being here for 2 years, save up some money obviously, and get back home to college and go and pursue my dreams. And guess what? My dream was not entirely in hospitality. I was this person that saw myself in in this in behind the bars, I wanted to be a lawyer, political lawyer, actually political science. That's what I wanted to study, but not so sure if I can validate and say that my dreams are still valid. Maybe they still are. Times have changed. Probably my dreams and my aspirations that I had years back have changed over time. And here I am, deep dive into hospitality, which I've ventured in different aspects. I've spoke about this at length for those that are viewing me for the very first time in my other episodes, how times have transitioned for me to where I'm at the moment. And I think that basically my experience of relocating here was I had very super high expectations, and by God's grace my relocation here was very swift, was very smooth, was very well organized, I would put it that way. I mean, people have different stories. I have friends, I also have family that have relocated here with different perceptions. For me, I relocated here with a contract, with an employment contract. I was interviewed from back home for an opportunity here, which I've actually spoke about it as well on my other episodes. Don't want to again expand much on it. So I relocated here with an employment visa. I relocated here with expectations of having an accommodation, obviously, that I knew that I was going to be housed here. I had a job already when relocating here. Obviously, it was not the very best job, as big as my dreams were, obviously, but still dreams. As mentioned, dreams are always valid, however small they are, however big they are. We dream big, right? It's very rare. It's very rare to dream small and expect big. It's always the other way around. You dream super big and kind of go in different stages, in different elevations to achieving those dreams or getting close to that. So for me, with my employment contract, got my visa done, my employment visa, relocated here, was well received at the airport. I remember at the time with a group of friends that we relocated here at the very same time, doing different tasks. I've spoke about my work experience from when I joined here, the transitions that I've had. So I had a very swift relocation. But if I can touch a bit more on how in my experience or with friends that I've had here or family that also is with me here, the relocation were quite different. I have had friends that have relocated here on visit visas, and I applaud them for that, because this is quite a bold move to take, because you don't know anyone here. Neither did I when I relocated here. I only knew the friends that we relocated here with, which again, that was a little family that we moved here together. We had different transitions together. We had different experiences. A lot of us moved over years. I hardly have the 7 friends that we relocated here with. I think it's only me that is still based here, and the rest are in different countries. Some are in other parts of the world, some relocated back home after a couple of years, and I'm still here. And obviously, as I mentioned, I've had friends that have relocated on visit visas, not knowing anybody, getting at the airport and hoping that they just grab a taxi, grab a bus, and just drive to a destination where maybe there is people, and try to find how they can settle down with some little money they have into different setup, which will drive me to my next topic of talking about accommodations in my general view, basically. And again, as I've mentioned, I'm not an expert. I'm not here to advocate for what should be done, how it should be done, and I'm just sharing how my journey has been and how my relocation was. And as I've mentioned earlier, I had a very swift and I had a very easy relocation, which I think made life much easier. But obviously I can't match that to the dream that I had at the time. Transitions have happened, actually, obviously, in my lifestyle here, in my career majorly, which has brought me to where I'm at. at the moment, sharing my story now. So accommodations, when I'd moved here with my employment visa, I was in a sharing apartment. It was a one-bedroom apartment where we had three of us sharing that. So so we had that set up. It was quite good. Obviously, the job itself, job description, or the different jobs that we were doing were completely different at different stage. Initially, we were all doing the same thing. We all were from Kenya at the time, so it was quite easy and good enough for us to settle down. There is different stories that others would share on how they settled here, not knowing anybody, sharing houses which they pay for, like a space which they popularly term as bed spaces. They share it with different nationalities, maybe different cultures that match. You just have kind of your own space that you're paying for, relocating, not having a job. You're fully dependent on just waking up in the morning, grabbing whatever you can grab for your meal, or so if you do have that, and then going knocking at doors, looking for jobs. Complete different experience. Never had that myself, but again, I did have my own version of how things translated, from that base startup to elevating myself to where I'm at now. So my accommodations were quite great at the time. Very different in times that I've transitioned now compared to how things were back then, because obviously people that even relocated here at around the same time with me, life for them was very different in terms of the spend that they the amount of money that they had to spend on paying for these accommodations that they were sharing. And even for us relocating at the time, with people in different levels of depending on what you were hired for, there were people that had their own spaces, like their own studios, their own apartments. Maybe some relocated here with families already. Some moved here and had to share, had to work hard, get elevated at work, get moved to different accommodation setups depending on the companies they were working in as well. But in my case, obviously, I would say, there were entry level jobs which I started up with. Over time, got to be given my own space, which I was still accommodated in until much later in years. I would say about maybe 6 years, 7 years, when I was able to kind of ask or be eligible to have a leave out, an allowance that I could rent my own apartment or my own space that I could pay for, get my own furniture, which is the best ideal thing to do or to have here if you can. But again, then that brings you into the opportunities, I would say, or the job insights. So job insights here are completely different. Everyone has their own version of story about the job insights here, but I'll still say that there are opportunities here that we can venture, but it needs a lot of patience, it needs a lot of dedication, it needs a lot of hard dedicated work, not just hard work. We all work hard to achieve what we want, but our dedication to match our hard work sometimes maybe are not at the same. And again, I'm not saying as I mentioned, I'm again not an expert in this. I'm just sharing my story or my view. So it takes a lot of hard work. It's not everyone that would be able to be persistent in this hard work. Some of us end up changing for the good, obviously. Some of us end up giving up on in the process of working hard to give in and say, I've had enough of this, can't take it. I relocated here, left a great home back home, that maybe your own space or your family home, or maybe where you settle in your own respective places that you come from or you hail from. So then you come and kind of review that with what you're going through here, staying in a bed space or staying in an accommodation that you're offered, in my case, which you don't find convenient, you don't find comfortable. You kind of start viewing things differently. You kind of start deviating your focus on the actual job that brought you here, and start looking more into the lifestyle, because here people tend to compare themselves to others a lot. And I've seen this a lot, and it still happens. People tend to say, if I could relocate and get myself a job in an XYZ company, they probably offer better services, they offer better benefits, better accommodation in that aspect. And again, the sky's the limit. You have to stretch yourself to achieve or to get into those phases, and they don't just happen miraculously, right? No one just holds your hands and plants you in that. So you kind of have to find your ways through that. So yes, so great. The opportunities of work here would entirely be based on your entire hard work, and obviously everyone's story is different in different ways. Because like in my case, I would say I'd really push myself so hard to always challenge myself and find the reason why I had to change. Spoke about this as well in some episodes in the other videos, which if you've not watched that, I would encourage you to do so, to just hear how I've had transitions and my opportunities. But with insights of jobs, I would say it's not the easiest transition here. It's not the one that is as easy as sometimes it might be viewed from back home. Obviously, some back home the perception is always, so and so has relocated to Dubai. It's Dubai. The term itself. Some of them look at it as an acronym. He's just doing work and buying stuff. He's living his best life. But in real sense, it's a very big struggle here. It's the competition here is very stiff in terms of opportunities, because a lot of people try to pursue the same opportunities you're pursuing as well. I mean, there are a lot of changes that happen. It's a country that works entirely so hard around the clock. You want to translate that in your lifestyle as well. You want to grow so fast. You want to achieve so much in a very short term, because here we do work in contracts. Obviously, we do have, depending on your agreements, in a span, like in my case, I had a dream of only being here for 2 years. Back in 2008, it's been nearly 18 years, but I'm still trying to achieve that dream. I haven't achieved it yet, but there has been lots of fun. There's been lots of moments that I've transitioned through. But I would say I am grateful to God for the journey through to where I'm at the moment. And looking back, I'm actually giving myself, a tap on the back, saying thank you, and I'm thanking myself, obviously, for keep pushing hard, and to the point where I'm at, because I still look at opportunities that I have had, and they've not come through easily. They've taken a lot of dedication. They've taken a lot of hard work. They've also taken a lot of insights, in the sense of you speaking to yourself, having that meeting of the three facing you, me, myself, and I, thinking through, if this opportunity doesn't give me this, what else can I venture that can push me close to what I want to get? And we are different. We are raised differently. I mean, perhaps maybe my hard work, my ambitions are different from other people, but mine has always been trying to be a better version of myself. So it gets to a point in life where you obviously have people that you would look at as mentoring you. But I think the very best translation of that in terms of growing for me would be refining or reviewing yourself, looking at yourself a year back and a year ahead and years to come. Where do you see yourself? Where were you? Where do you see yourself? And where do you envision that you want to be? And that, I think, once you have that at the back of your mind, it will always push in different aspects of how you relate, people you meet, and what sort of people do you want to have in your circle, again, that would either help you elevate, would either challenge you, or people that you can approach that are already in certain fields that you aspire to be in, or dream of you kind of dream to achieve, and help you get close to your dream, not necessarily be the destiny connectors, but again, at the same time, also use them as your destiny connectors to try and achieve a dream that you have. So I think the insights are always, I would grade it down to always look at it in your version, challenge yourself rather than looking up to certain people, which might not necessarily be a reason to push you up, because sometimes the notion of I look up to you, please hold my hand, help me out in achieving my dream. But again, deep down, reviewing this on your own, what do you really want to achieve? Sometimes if you get that to yourself, and again I'm saying that different opportunities, different companies that you get to work in might either help you achieve the dream, might either challenge you to achieve the dream, or push you hard to get close to achieving those dreams. I've seen people transitioning from jobs here, like in 8 different jobs in about span of 3 years. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, and at the same time, I'm saying that's a great thing to be able to do, to be able to get to a point where you are. But at the same time, it grades down to what do you want to achieve by yourself, you know. So it all breaks down to what opportunities you would have and how you utilize them. You know, it's not that you always get the best atmospheres to grow. I've had friends that have had very terrible situations. I have been in very tough situations myself. That I would want to. I wouldn't want someone else that I know, or someone that even you don't know, even an enemy, to experience that. But I still held on to those to still get close to my dream, which I'm still yet to achieve. I'm still yet to hit that bag and say, yes, I've achieved my dream. But again, being grateful for so much that I've gone through that has helped me be a better version of myself and prepares me for what's ahead of us. So, and again, another thing that also is a big change here that I have witnessed over years is the cultural insights here are completely different. We meet people from all walks of life, from different parts of the world. We become friends, we become family. They either change influences positively, or again at the same time also there's some of us that get influenced negatively and start slowly changing our perceptions, deviating from our dreams, and start getting into different lifestyles. And again, as I've said earlier, I'm not here to advocate for what has been done wrongly or what could have been done better. It's all about reflecting to yourself. And this, as I've said, I'm sharing my story, my view, and my thought process to it. So it's up to us again on how we want to define ourselves in cultures that we find ourselves blending into. So you would meet people for different walks of life. Maybe the lifestyle here, the dream here is to just live 2 years away from their families or get to see them once in a while and just live the best life. Try to live a different kind of lifestyle, different from maybe what brought them here. Maybe some of them are just here to experience that Dubai lifestyle, because the perception or the view of Dubai or the view of UAE is always different if you've not been here, and what you see from maybe visually from maybe social media, what people get post and what they actually go through. Sometimes maybe they don't get to show you that, but they get to show you the fruit of what they've worked so hard to get. And that maybe kind of gives a different impression of how you'd view things when you want to relocate here. So in my view, I think the cultural insights here have challenged me differently, because you get to meet people that have come from very good backgrounds, and they're only here maybe to experience more of an exposure, or just for their career, to kind of challenge them. How is it working in the Middle East? How is the development there? That's the kind of expectations in terms of why they've relocated here. While as you get the other versions of the people like me that have moved here to try and change the narrative story of the lifestyle is always you live, work, you get whatever job you get, that's what you have, you build yourself based on what you have. No, you want to get yourself out of that space, that comfort phase, on how we were brought up, like this is what we have, this is what we must work with, and this is the much we can go. No, change the narrative, change the script, change the whole experience of completely change the whole perception of limitations. We are limitless. Never limit yourself or to what you have, and put yourself or get yourself into a comfort zone, like, oh, I've got here, this is what I have, I don't need anything else, and I'm fine. No. Challenge yourself to achieve that you think you would never have dreamt of. I remember so many years back, I could always look up to people and say, wow, I wish one day I could drive that car. I wish that I can dress in that suit. I wish I can stand in front of people with some sort of voice, with some sort of confidence, that I didn't have at the time. But when you got close to something like that, you wanted to actually do something bigger than you thought of. So, and I think that's the kind of mentality I've always had personally, to help me to help drive through to achieving dreams. Because for me, dreams are limitless. I would never say my dream was to do this and achieve that and stop at that. No, achieve that or get close to that, change the entire perception. And that's why I've had a lot of transitions in my career growth. And even just as a normal stages of growth of a kid, you want to do things different from certain ages. So I've gone through that, and I've not allowed that to just kind of pin me down and get me settled or get me into a comfort zone. No, it challenges me to want to continue elevating or doing better, being a better version of myself in different aspects. And again, another thing that has really helped me in terms of settling in well, and having that kind of close circle of friends that challenge you in different aspects of life, is choosing the right people around you to network around. And again, the community here is very diverse. It's, you can easily get into depressions because you don't have people that are close to you here. But again, when you do have people that are in the right positive mindset around you, they'll always challenge you to always think positive, to always be encouraged, to always get out of your comfort zone, to always push yourself so hard to achieve things that you never thought you would achieve by yourself. Like for me, sometimes I look at certain friends that once told me, I think you can do better than what you're doing. I think you can push yourself hard. Try to get the skills. Try push yourself to acquire this. It will help you. It will equip you, with certain confidence that you would need, different from what you currently have. Because sometimes we limit ourselves with what we have, what we contain ourselves in. Like, this is the little space that I have, and I don't want to get into a comfort zone with the fear of not knowing how to handle, even in case you get that. But if you do have that ambitious mindset of wanting to always be hungry for more, I think it helps in different aspects. It equips you differently, and it helps you push yourself more to build that eagerness to always want to get more and more and more and more, and that kind of really helps you in a way. And again, another thing that also would either challenge you positively and again challenge you as well sometimes negatively, but again in a positive aspect, is how you choose to manage your finances. Because Dubai is one country in specific that you can literally spend everything you've worked so hard for and not be able to invest it into different aspects, depending on again on how your perception of how you handle your savings in terms of what you earn or what you look up to in terms of lifestyle savings or spend. So it's all open in the aspect of you achieve, you dream for what you want to have, or you work hard for what you can't achieve, or settle at what you can comfortably live within the means of what you can reach. Because sometimes we get driven into adapting to certain lifestyles which we can't sustain, maybe on a longevity process, or rather on a short term. But again, the end goal here is to always want to be able to sustain certain lifestyles that we know we need to work hard to maintain, which I think comes with again the aspect of being dedicated at what you do, how you do it, and how you want to push it on a much longer aspect, in different views. And in my view, if I was to give recommendations, I would still put it down into try and always get a lot of information, because sometimes we end up doing different things for not having the right information around us, and information could come from different sources. Now there is internet, there is friends, there's recommendations. Sometimes we tend to ignore information and end up paying the price of just not having information. In my personal experience, I remember when we first had our first child born here. We were new parents. We didn't have a lot of information. We are away from home. We don't have family around us. So we ended up spending a lot of money in so many ways, in terms of certain documentations, because there's certain restrictions, with authorities here. When you have a newborn, you have to do certain things. We didn't know how to go about them, and we just ended up going on. How can I put it? We ended up spending so much money on getting certain things done, which we would have avoided so much by just having information, asking around, and trying to get right sources. Also, again, trying to network around people that can help you get certain information that you might not have, because sometimes we tend to network with the wrong people. Sometimes we tend to network with the wrong crowd. Sometimes we tend to network with kind of friends that don't really wouldn't really put you or help you get information that you would need. Sometimes it's more of kind of like a short term, more of kind of fan base, or just want to hang around friends that just want to have a great weekend, go out drinking, or having a party, or go for fun activities, just. And again, sometimes you tend to want to network around people that talk about views of what they could do in terms of investments, or what could you do in terms of opportunities, and also what you could do in terms of expanding your different careers as well, online faces, what sort of institutions you could approach, either physically or online, on different aspects. These are different kind of networking forums that you could kind of have yourself you find yourself in. So that also kind of helps. So my view is always to try and have as much information as you can from both back at home, from friends that are here, from internet sources. Tend to read reviews, because sometimes we tend to bypass such informations or such recommendations or platforms that we do have within our reach, and then tend up to start regretting not having gone through that. So always try to get as much information as you can. Always try to ask around. Always try to do a case study of what you're looking at in terms of what you're ambitious in or trying to achieve. Always try to ask people that maybe you might have information of, that have gone through certain things. Because sometimes we always go like, no, his story is different, his view is different, mine is going to be definitely different, and we end up either falling. And again, as I said, I'm not an expert in this. People have different stories. I know of people that have relocated here or been here for fairly 2 years, and they're flying, they're like doing incredibly amazing, and I know people that have been here for so long and equally are doing amazingly well, and things didn't turn for them overnight. They've been over different phases, they've gone through different experiences, they're very equipped in different phases, just like seasonalities, but again, at the same time, there's people that took the bold move of relocating, yet not knowing anybody and not having any information, but made sure they attached themselves with the right information, sourced for the right information, try to always achieve or try to add the jobs that they dreamt for, and never lost focus along the way, because not everyone that relocates here grabs the dream jobs at glance. Some of them end up having to do certain jobs over years, just to be able to get close to their dream. Like in my case, like I said, I thought that over a year I would end up settling to do my law studies. The dream was to come here, save so much money, so much money, to be able to cater for my studies. But again, that has changed over time. But again, I'm so grateful for so much that I've been able to achieve, and God has been gracious and grateful and taken me through this journey, which has been incredibly amazing in my view. I don't live the best life, but again, I'm so grateful for that I live at the moment, how I live, how my family is settled with me here, and how my extended family back at home is as well, which is what keeps us going, and challenges us and personally to keep doing great, keep being a better version of myself, to keep achieving more. And again, yes, that brings me into conclusion of my story today. What's yours? Please share your comments on the chat box. Please let me know how yours has been, wherever you are, where you settled, or even it could be even back at home, something that is in your view, your journey as well. So speak to you soon on the next podcast. Ciao.